Hello everybody and welcome back to Questline Hero. Today we are playing some Microsoft Flight Simulator. We're going to be trying out the career mode. Now the career mode is not built into Flight Simulator. We actually need a separate program which is called OnAir Airline Manager. That's what we're using here. I have played this a little bit before. And I used to actually stream this last year when Flight Sim 2020 came out. But then I didn't play for like a year or 8 months or something. And my company value went down to like minus 13.9 million or something like that. So I had to start a new company, which is totally fine. So basically last night I started a new company so I could get ready for this. All I've done is taken out a little bit of a loan in order that we can pay for the rental on an airplane. I've done the first, I've purchased my first airplane, which is this Cessna 208 Grand Caravan. This one here. And then I've also done my check ride for it so that the OnAir company manager will allow me to fly that plane in the simulator. So we're going to go to our jobs here. We have a job, a very short job first here. We're stationed at Miami International Airport. That's where we're going to start from. I chose this because I kind of thought it was a fun place. You know, we could do runs to Jamaica and runs to these islands and to, you know, Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador. We could go to Mexico. We could go into the US. So this sort of southern edge of Florida here, I think is a really interesting looking area in Flight Simulator. You know, going to like Nassau and Havana, stuff like that. I think this is going to be more interesting looking. Last time I played this, I started myself in Calgary, Alberta, which is where I'm living right now. And in all honesty, it's just kind of a boring area. It's very flat. There's not very much stuff around. So I feel like this is going to give us just a little bit more interesting stuff. Oh, this is kind of laggy. This map here, but that's okay. So this is what we're doing right now. We are going from KOPF, which is this tiny little airport here, the executive airport, Miami Executive. We're going to be going into Miami International. We got to figure out how to do this. I don't actually know how to do this. So live operations. I think we go from the live operations map. Okay, and I think we go here. Prepare the next flight. I think this is what we do. Let me just check. Prepare the next flight. So this is where we prepare the aircraft. This is where we can add fuel if we need it. I don't think we need fuel, but this is the cargo, so we can load this. So this is with it loaded. Okay, so let's validate this. So that means that we're gonna wait 1 minute, 1.5 minutes for them basically to do their apron work. So this OnAir company manager is sort of like, it's a video game outside of the flight simulator itself. And it's sort of a economics simulator, if you will. It sort of takes all the different parts of being an airline manager and lets you sort of play with it. So, you know, you need to wait for the cargo crew to load your plane. You need to wait. If you're a passenger plane, you need to wait for the passengers to board. And there's a skill tree that will, you know, make things quicker and things like that. So it's a very interesting add-on to Microsoft Flight Sim. The one thing that Microsoft Flight Simulator didn't have when it at least started was a lot of directional content, so like pointing you in places that were cool and stuff like that. I think they've gotten a little bit better. I just got back to Canada and am using my good computer. This won't run on my laptop, I don't think, fairly successfully, so I've played a little bit with it, and it looks like they do have like more scenic flights for you to explore and things like that. But when Flight Sim, you know, released, it didn't really have a whole lot of content. I don't want to say content because it's got the entire world in it, but it didn't have a lot of handheld content. You know, go see this, go try this, explore this, here's a leaderboard, stuff like that. So this on-air company manager really sort of supplies the, I guess, immersion of, you know, owning an aircraft and, you know, being a pilot and, you know, eventually, you know, hiring a crew and things like that. So I think that makes it really interesting. So we're going from KTNT to KMIA today. Those are our airport codes. So we're going to basically hit fly now. And that's going to track our aircraft. Now we need to go into Microsoft Flight Sim, and we actually need to go down into KOPF. And we need to set this as our departure. And then we need to hit fly.
Opa-laka Tower, Cessna Alpha, Sierra, X-Ray Golf, Sierra at runway 27 right, ready for departure, straight out departure.
All right, we're back, ready to fly. So now that we're in the aircraft, we can see that we are connected to the simulator, Microsoft Flight Simulator, and we can see everything, all the tracking conditions are good. So we've got the data is correct, the fuel is correct, payload is correct, the model of the airplane is correct, the sim settings is correct, the location. So if any of these don't match, there'll be an X, and you'll have to fix that. But everything so far is good. So we're gonna hit start tracking, and this will cause the app, the on-air tracking,
your flight will
start.
be monitored until you land and shut down the engines.
So there we go. So your flight will be monitored until you land and shut down your engines. So I've started myself on the tarmac. I don't want to do all the startup procedures and stuff like that. So we are basically just going to start going. So we're going to go out. We're going to go up. We're only going to go about 1,500 feet in the air because we're basically going 6 miles away or something like that to the international airport. So we're just going to go out, head us south, and we're going to get in there. Now, it does track things like your G-forces. It does track your, you know, collisions and things like that. So if I crash this plane into the airport, it will register it as a crash, and we will lose this plane. It will be damaged, and we'll have to pay to get it repaired or replaced or whatever. So we do kind of want to be careful. You can ruin the game fairly easily with crashing your first plane. So I think I'm just going to do this from the outside. Let's see how loud. That's pretty loud, hey? I'm going to get into my sound here, and I'm going to turn the aircraft down, and I'm going to turn the master volume down a little bit because I think it's drowning out everything when we're flying like this. So let's apply that. Let's go back. Let's resume. And I just want to take a look at my OBS and see, yeah, my voice is higher than the desktop audio now. Okay, excuse me, perfect. Let's go ahead and take off. There's not much to this. I do have a HOTAS in front of me, so I've got the Xbox flight controller in front of me, which helps if you're going to play Flight Sim. If you try and play with a keyboard and mouse, it's going to be a miserable time. I suggest if you don't want to spend money on a HOTAS, which I think this was pretty cheap. We got this on sale at Visions or something like that, and it was only $100 or $90 or something like that. But you can also use a PlayStation controller. Well, actually, the PlayStation controller may no longer work. I've heard that they made changes. Microsoft wants you to use an Xbox controller, obviously. And they have changed the way that they let you do that. So I think you'll have to use an Xbox controller now, which is really unfortunate because I liked using my PS5 controller, but now I have a HOTAS, so it doesn't matter now. All right, we're going to put our flaps back to 0. We're going to climb up a little bit. Like I say, we're only going up about 1,500 feet because we don't need any height here. We're just flying to Miami International, which is just down over here. So yeah, we're going to take this little small flight. If we tab over, we are being tracked. You can see here. Oops, if I don't go too fast. We are being tracked on our app, so that's good. There's the international airport right there in front of us to the right. So we're going to basically just go and land there. Now, I don't think the app will track like what runway you land on. I don't think they care about that kind of stuff necessarily. All they really want to know is that you landed near the airport. So, I mean, if you wanted to, you could probably just take a straight shot and just land on the ground near it. It would probably be okay. I don't think it tracks like whether you followed the VOR instructions or, I don't think it tracks any of that stuff. But But this is, you know, we're here for a little bit of immersion. So you can see there's another plane landing. We're not going to deal with ATC. I don't really care about ATC in this game. I think it's kind of silly. We're going to now go flaps down. We're going to go 15 degrees flaps, and we're going to start to slow down. You can see our airport there.
Acknowledge last transmission.
And you can see where the runways are. So that's where we're going to come in here in a second. You can hear ATC barking at me. I'm not interested, ATC. I'm rogue. So I believe we want to land at about 60 knots. So we can actually go full 25 or 30 degree flaps rather. And we're going to slow down quite a bit here. We're going to take... We can actually pull up our map if we press V. So we can see where we are relative to the airport. We probably don't need that many flaps. We can probably go back up one. And we're just going to bleed off a little bit of speed and height. And we're at 2,600 feet, which is way higher than we were planning to be. So we're going to do a little bit of a flyby of North Miami, I suppose. I've never been here, so I don't know. But we're going to do a little bit of a flyby. You can see on my map there, in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, you can see a bunch of planes. Those are actually other players. So this is online enabled, so you can actually see the other players that are playing in the same session as you, which is really interesting. So there's a bunch of people on the Miami tarmac chilling out, probably doing coke and having Mexican food, I'm guessing. I don't know. This game is beautiful, though. Like, no matter what, it's super nice looking. You can change your view to see where you are. It's really, really nice. Okay, we're going to go back to full flaps, and we're going to bleed a little bit more speed.
Good day.
Good day, ATC. I know, it's funny. ATC gets pissed off at you, and then they say, ATC is terminated. Good day. Like, they're angry at you. Like, dude, in reality, if I was flying over Miami and not responding to ATC, that would be, like, the F-15s would be good daying me. And it wouldn't be a good day for me. You know what I'm saying? Alright, so we're going to line up for this airport. This is an international airport, so we probably have, 9,000 feet worth of runway, so it doesn't matter if we come in right down on the runway, but we're going to do our best to just do it somewhat properly and get in. We probably don't need to be coming down. We probably wouldn't be given clearance for this runway since this is, like, massive.
Wind 270 at 4
Probably
knots.
be on a smaller runway or something, but I don't know anything about flying, so that's fine. Alright, we need to bleed a little bit more speed. And we are going to come down, and we're going to finish our first
500.
little tiny 6-7 minute flight. I feel like there's a little bit of wind. I don't have all my instruments in front of me because I'm looking from the outside, but I can tell there's a little bit of wind, crosswind happening here. Which is fine, we can adjust for that. That's why we have flight controls. Okay, and we want to pull up here, bleed a little bit more speed and altitude. We want to probably be landing around 60, 55, something like that, I suspect. So we'll just slowly come in.
Landing time locked.
Oh, a little hard landing, but it's alright. We can press V, we don't need to see where we are anymore. I'm going to hit the brakes a little bit. And I'm going to come off the tarmac over here, and I'm going to just go park. Now we're at Miami International Airport, quite a much bigger airport than I'm used to. I think there are probably good ways to like get on and off the tarmac, but I'm just going to turn. I don't even care. You can't even stop me. I watched the video yesterday of the guy who like stole the Frontier Airlines flight at the plane and like flew around and then crashed into an island. And he was probably just like this. I don't even care which way I'm supposed to be going. I'm just going to take off. He probably took off from a taxiway or something. Who knows? Alright, so we're just going to park here. This is not terribly important where we go. I just wanted to do this first little flight just to get it out of the way. We will make a little bit of money from this, but not a whole lot. There is obviously this is an economy simulator. I'm going to park right here, right like I was a jet. Look at this. Okay, air crew. Come and sort me out. Get that walkway into my door. Alright, so now that we've completed that first flight, let's go back into here and we can see our flight is finished, so we can hit
Engine
end
off
flight.
time log.
Okay, and
Flight
then it will
is
give
finished.
us basically a
It has
score.
been monitored by OnAir.
It will say like, so you've reached level 2, there's a new level mission available, plus 2 skill points, etc. So that's really good. We can hit OK. There was nothing interesting about that flight necessarily, so yeah, that's fine. But there is levels. So as you increase levels, you get skill points. Skill points can be used, like I said before. You can, where is my skill points? Skill tree, yeah, here. So I can go to the skill tree, and I can do things. So the first thing I got was the bank loans agreement, so that I could get better loan, or so I could get bank loans because I wanted to do that. The next thing we could do is a hiring agreement, so we can hire employees and freelancers. I might do that, but I'm thinking about getting my passenger license instead, and this will allow us to do jobs with passengers. The thing is, I don't have... So when I purchased my plane, I have to specify the loadout of the plane, and I didn't put any passenger seats in. I just made it a cargo plane. So that's not actually going to help me very much. I could get better interest rate on my loan. Not that interesting, I guess. I think I'm probably going to get this anyway. The next plane that I get will be a passenger type plane, like a Cessna with 14 seats or something. So I will get this passenger license. I'm also going to get the hiring agreement because they're 1 skill each. They're pretty much required to do anything else later in the game. So I'm going to get them for now. Okay, so now we've got more jobs. We've got a job here to go up to Palm Bay. So this is going to give us a good amount of pay, $20,000, a good amount of XP. This is a level mission, so you can see if I hide the level missions, it's there. You can use this regenerate button. So all of these missions that they give you are procedural. They just basically create a flight, plan, not a flight plan, but a flight for you randomly. So basically what they're going to want me to do is they want me to go from where I am, which is Miami, down to, from KIMA, to over to here, and then up to here. So it's sort of 2 legs on my journey. And I can see that if I press this plus, there's 2 cargo deliveries basically. The first one is to KFXE, which is up, which is here, just above where we are. And then there's the second cargo delivery that's going to KMLB, which is up here. Now, what is my cargo capacity? Let me look at my planes. So the max payload is 3,000 pounds. So that doesn't really work. I'm going to have to basically go back to Miami to do that because I've got 3,300 pounds. So what we can actually do is just regenerate this. So if I regenerate this, it's basically going to give me a new flight plan. So this is, again, giving me 3,100 cargo. Now, if we're picking up cargo... okay, so this, actually, the cargo is separated. So the first cargo we're delivering to here, and then we're coming back here, near Lake Okeechobee. Okeechobee? Yep. So, we could do this because so we're going to pick up cargo here in Miami, then we're going to go over to here, which is River Ranch Resort, then we're going to drop off one cargo and pick up another cargo and bring it to Okeechobee. I believe that's how this works, and that's fine because we've got 1,500 pounds of cargo. So what we could do is look for other cargo missions on the way to River Ranch. So, excuse me, we could do this, or we could regenerate. I think I'm going to try again. Okay, now this one is interesting. It's going to take us all the way up to this South Patrick Shores, then down to the Bahamas. That's quite a long flight, going both of those. It would be very interesting, but it would be very, very long. The pay is pretty much the same, so I want a shorter flight than that. I don't want to do such big ones. So here we're going out there and back. It pays a little tiny bit more. Let's see. Yeah, we're still under 3,000 on both, so we could do that one. Let's just regenerate a couple more times. There's nothing to lose by regenerating this. This is going down to Key West. That would be cool. Should we do that? Oh, that doesn't pay as much though. I definitely want over 20,000 so that I can pay off my loan. 16, and we're going that far? No, thank you. Game to Key West for only $14,000. Are you kidding me? I don't get out of bed for less than. Ooh, look at this one, $31,000. There are 2 stops again. One in Sarasota, Florida, and then. Oh no! First we're going to Vero Beach. Vero Beach. I don't know anything about Florida, so. Vero Beach, and then we're going over to Sarasota, Florida. They're going to give us $31,000, which is nice, and the cargo is there. So I bet we can find a job going from Miami to either Sarasota or Vero Beach, KVRB. So let's see if we can find another one. So we've already got this job. It basically just gives it to us automatically. So if we find jobs, we're looking for Vero Beach. So we're from Miami. It's hard to type. Miami International, KMIA. I gotta remember that. Small trip, and we've got 1,500 pounds already. So the max we could do is, let's say, 1,100 pounds. That's the max we want to do, and let's see what comes up. So this is how you find new jobs, basically, and we can do multiple jobs at one time, obviously, just like a real airline. If you're flying and you've got cargo space, you can take something else. Now, some cargo you won't be qualified to take yet, so like medical supplies or dangerous materials, you won't be able to fly yet. And then you've got fragile cargo as well. So if you have fragile cargo and you go and do a barrel roll, like my son did last night, then you will break that cargo and you will get a penalty. So you got to be kind of careful. We can look. So this is the main airport of the mission. So we're looking for Vero Beach, wasn't it? What was it? Not that one. Vero Beach. This no, that's Melbourne. What was our pending job? Going to KVRB. So we can filter this by KVRB. And we can see if anything matches. Nothing matches. Okay, that's okay. How about the other one we're going to, which is... Oops, I've got something filtered still. Oh no, how do I take off my filter? Main. Take that off. Okay, let's go back to pending. KSRQ. Okay, so let's see if we can take something straight to Sarasota. KSRQ. KSRQ. I thought I saw it there, but I did not. KSRQ. So we put here. Let's just go down. KS. Okay. So there's currently no jobs that are going to the exact same place, which is a bummer. But let's see if we can get a high-paying job that's close, that carries less cargo. So we can't do medical jobs yet. So we're going to hide all unavailable jobs, exclude military airports. No, we don't need that. Okay, so we're going to exclude those. How do we hide unavailable jobs? Okay, hide them. I don't know how we apply that. So you can see here, we can actually click on the airports that are on the way, and we can see what there is. So you can see this one here only pays $1,250. That's not worth it. This one here doesn't pay much. The job here pays almost nothing. So you can just sort of click around until you find a job that pays a decent amount of money. Which none of these seem to be. Oh, look. This one goes to this Melbourne. Oh, it's only $1,160 though. That's not worth it. Where were we going again? We're going here, right? KPFR. KVRB. Okay, so it's just that there's no jobs to that airport. That's why it doesn't show up on this list, I bet. Yeah. So there's no jobs for that airport. That's why it doesn't show up. But there's the airport there. Okay. That's fine. What else can we do? This one here is right next to there. So, like, we could just take this one. It's got 1,000 cargo KMIA to FL95, so we can very quickly get there, and it would give us an extra $2,500. So we'll take this job, and then we'll go. So we'll go to pending here, and we will go to where's my here we go, the operations map. And we will prepare the next flight. So we are in Miami International Airport, KMIA, and we need to load the cargo. So we're going to load both of these. This here is the cargo that's available for pickup or delivery, at your airport that you're currently at. So you can see we've got two jobs. One of them is fridges, and one of them is just that cargo delivery. So we're going to both FL95 and KVRB. So we're going to drop off the heaviest item first, which is KVRB. So we'll validate the fuel and payload. Looks like we're okay. The one thing you want to make sure is that you can get fuel at the airports that you're going to. So the fuel on board we've got 28.6. We've got 306 nautical miles we can go, and we're well within that range, I believe. Alright, the ground crew has finished what they're doing. I've put the correct destination in, Vero Beach Regional Airport. It is a size 3. There is FBO services, so we are able to get jet fuel. We are able to get regular fuel, all that kind of stuff. So this is important to know because if you do go to like a size 1 airfield, there might not be any services there. And if you've only got enough fuel to get to there and not to your next destination, you could be stranded, and I don't know what happens. So we're not going to worry about that. We're going to go hit fly now, and then we're going to jump back in the simulator. So it's tracking the aircraft. And so we are going north over to KVRB. KVRB is up here, so we're basically just going to go straight north. Yeah, so we're going to come in. We're going to go out towards the ocean. We're going to follow the coastline, and then we're going to come in back towards the ocean. I don't care about the wind right now. I don't care how the wind is working. That's not interesting to me. I will eventually get into more details about stuff like that, but for now, I don't care about wind patterns.
Your flight will be monitored until
I'm just going to fly where I want to fly.
down
So
the
let's
engines.
jump back into here. We're going to fly over the ocean. Now, I wonder if I can get my... Can I get my plane out of this position? Let's put our flaps back. I need to... I've parked myself right here, but I need to be able to get out of here. Actually, I think I can request pushback. Let me go to my control options. I can go to my keyboard. Miscellaneous. Toggle pushback. Shift P. Does that work? Let me try that. Shift P. Oh yeah, so Shift P will give me a pushback. So they'll just slowly push me back. This is not very likely in a Cessna, but that's okay. You can see we're slowly just getting pushed back a little bit. And I think for the game, this basically just moves your moves you back a little bit. It doesn't do much else. So once we've got enough space, we can turn around. We're just going to turn. So I'll hit Shift P again. That will stop our pushback. And then we will just turn. Oh, no, don't crash. Oh no. Restart. Uh-oh. Oh no, I'm going to go back to my old airport, aren't I? Okay, now I've made a mistake. Flight aborted by airport crash. Oh no. See, now I've... now I've
Tower,
messed up
Cessna
my thing.
Alpha, Sierra, X-Ray Golf, Sierra ready for straight out departure at runway 27 right.
Okay, so I'm at the wrong airport now. Oops. I want to go back to the main menu. So I need to restart this. So I need to go to my, live operations map. Yeah, that's a bummer. I botched that. Prepare the next flight. So let's go to our world map. We are in Miami International Airport. Set as departure. We want to set this runway 9 as our departure so that we're heading out over the ocean. You can see all these green people. Those are players. Look at all these parking spots. Ooh, oh my gosh. Okay, we're going to fly.
Miami Tower, Cessna Alpha, Sierra, X-Ray Golf, Sierra ready for departing straight out at runway 9er.
Okay, so now we're back in the simulator on the runway. Okay, so I guess that's a lesson. Don't just always restart the simulator or just stop on the tarmac. Don't put your nose right up against the airport. Or push back further and don't be in a rush like I am. Okay, so we've already got these loaded. We've got enough fuel. We've still got the same amount of fuel we had before. So we are going to go to our destination, which is KVRB, right? KVRB, Vero Beach. The alternate is the Patrick Air Force Base, and we're going to fly now. Okay, so all of these sim things are good. We're going to start tracking. It does connect with Microsoft Flight Simulator, so it knows where we are, obviously,
shut
like
down
before.
the engines.
So now we just got to get going. And again, I like flying from outside. This is not a technical flight, so I don't need to like do technical things. I just need to fly the plane. And so I like having this. I like having this view. Why not? If I'm flying a jet or something, I might have a different view, but for now, flying Cessnas and silly, it's fine. You guys can get angry at me if you like. But this is how I prefer to fly.
Airborne time log.
Okay, so we don't have gears. We're going to flaps up. Now we are going to use the autopilot for this a little bit. I'm not going to fly everything by stick because it's just not worth it. So what I want to do is just get up, see the nice view. I've got a trim of 5%, which will help me get up. Alright. Let's get back in the cockpit. I'm going to get my autopilot set up. So my heading is going to be pretty much like 3, let's say actually like 7 degrees. I'm going up pretty aggressively. My poor passengers that don't exist. The altitude, we want to go up to about 4,500, I think. Maybe not even that much. Maybe 3,000 feet will do. So I'm just adjusting the autopilot settings here. Why is my...
Cessna X-Ray Golf Sierra, leaving my airspace frequency change approved.
Okay, so we'll keep our throttle down a little bit. So I'm going to keep my heading on. I'm going to keep my altitude on, and I'm going to hit autopilot. And then the autopilot will take over, and we'll start flying in the direction that it wants to go to. It will also get to my altitude. You'll see it'll stop when we hit 3,000 feet. So we're heading off in this direction. If we open up V, which is our GPS,
Cessna X-Ray Golf
we will
Sierra,
see where we
acknowledge
are,
last
where
transmission.
we're going. Oops. So we're going up this way, over here to Vero Beach. So I actually might want to change my heading just a little bit more. I'm going to say maybe 12 degrees. And that'll take us out over here. So basically we want to come over the, KFPR, is that where we're going?
Cessna X-Ray Golf Sierra, please
No,
acknowledge.
KMLB. So we want to basically just go straight out here over the ocean, and then we'll turn, and you can see the runway is lined up about this way. So we'll get out over here, then we'll turn and we'll land. That'll give us enough space to do all that. So that's basically how you set these up. I'm going to keep my VFR map over here for now. The autopilot is controlling the aircraft. You can see it's quite windy. That's why we're bouncing around quite a bit. We're also only at 3,000 feet. I think I'm going to take us up a little bit higher. This is probably
Cessna
way
X-Ray
too low.
Golf Sierra, please acknowledge.
So you need to set your altitude. I'm going to hit my altitude off. I'm going to hit my vertical speed button, and I'm going to increase my vertical speed up to, say, 900 or so. And that will get the aircraft to climb at about 900 feet per minute up to that 4,500 feet. And the autopilot will do all of it. I can sit with my nice iced coffee and enjoy it.
Cessna X-Ray Golf Sierra, ATC services terminated. Good day.
Hear that? ATC got mad again. ATC services terminated. Good day. Yeah, good day to you, friend. Alright, we can turn our GPS tracking back on so we can see where we are relative to our... This is KMLB, this is where we're going. If you ever forget where you're going, you can always jump back into here and you can see KVRB is our destination. That's where we're going. This is our alternate here, the Patrick Air Force Base. So yeah, this is unfortunately the boring part of the ride, where we don't do anything. I will probably time-lapse this on YouTube, so you won't hear any of this if you're on YouTube. We'll just time-lapse this. I'm on a better plane, so I can go faster. This is pretty slow. But that's okay. We could also go higher. That would be better, but yeah. Is it really worth it? I don't know how high these things usually cruise. Maybe we could try like 10,000. Problem is we need to lose our speed pretty quickly too. Or lose our altitude once we get over there. KMLB. Let's get up to 10,000 feet. 8,000 feet. Yeah, I stopped at 8, so let's do 8. Vertical speed. We want to go up at about 1,000 feet per minute, so we'll be up there in a few minutes. Let's check our engines. Engines look okay. Everything is green. Everything looks okay so far. We're still doing 127 knots, which is fine in this. So, yeah, everything is swimmingly. This will be nicer when you have better planes, obviously. I'm currently renting this plane, so it's quite expensive to rent this. And it does charge you rent every day or month or whatever it is. It does charge you... I think I'm leasing this actually, so I lease this, so every month I will pay money. This is why my other game is $13 million in the hole, because they keep leasing you the airplanes or renting you the airplanes, and you keep paying for them. You keep paying for your pilots, even when you don't play anymore. There must be a pause function there somewhere, but I don't have it, or I didn't use it, so that's why my other playthrough is completely wrecked. Now you can see here, this yellow line is the way that the plane is heading. So this is our current heading. We're not heading directly for the airport, and that's because I don't want to head directly to the airport, because I need to actually land the airplane on this runway. 30 right or 30 left. Probably 30 right will be my runway, and I need to be in this area here in order to capture that flight path. So that's why I'm heading out this way instead, rather than going straight to the airport. That's just the way it is. I probably could just go straight for the airport. I'm in a pretty small plane, and then I can just land. But this is a little bit of immersion for it, so I'll try this. Anyway, I'm going to be back in just a little bit. Once we get a little bit closer, I'll keep my eye on this. I'm going to get some work done while I do this, and I will hit you back soon. So if you're in chat and you want to say hi, now's a good time. We can chat. Alright, I'm back, and let me turn down the Bad volume. So, as you can see, we're getting pretty close to our KVRB. Where are we here? Yeah. So we're approaching this pretty quickly. I'm going to drop my speed and altitude pretty quick here. And I'm going to get us down to maybe 4,000 feet. And I'm going to get down fairly quickly. And I want to drop our engines down quite a bit. Basically want to get down, and then I'm going to start my turn now as well. So we want to be heading 300. So I'm going to change my heading until we're at 300. This should line us up pretty much perfectly for the airport. KVRB right there. So we're right here. This is our airport. You can see down there, that's KVRB. So we're going to get there. We're at the right speed. We're dropping our altitude quick enough. We should be totally fine. We can probably speed up a little bit. And as you can see, because we were up at 8,000 feet, it's probably good that we took this little bit of a wider turn, just so that we have lots of time to get down back to sea level, so that we can land. But it worked out perfect. We got right to our point, and then we're pretty much right on track. A little bit off, maybe, but we're doing really well to get where we're supposed to be. So that's good. There's our plane, right headed into KVRB. And then as soon as we get a little bit closer, I'll be able to just fly us down and land. So yeah, I'll be back in a couple of minutes when we get ready for landing procedures. It's interesting, because we're playing online, you can actually see there's other planes. This is other players lining up for the runway as well. Okay, so we're getting pretty close here. I'm going to drop our altitude down to 2,000 feet. I'm going to also drop the engines back a little bit so that we don't go over speed. I'm actually going to drop all the way down to 1,000 feet. Yep, come on, drop down. I didn't press the vertical speed button, that's why the autopilot kind of lost its mind there a little bit. And I want to drop it quicker than this. We're only 5 miles now from the airport. We can start hitting our flaps. We are coming in a little bit high. I waited a little bit long. I was busy chatting with my wife and didn't realize how close we were. So that's okay. We're pretty much on target. I'm going to change our heading over a little bit. We are just off of where we were supposed to be. So I'm going to get us back. Oh, okay, plane. Okay, plane, you're all right. Everyone chill. I'm going to try and drop our vertical speed even more. And then we'll fly this plane in manually once we get about 1 mile out, maybe 2 miles. Yeah, one nautical mile should be fine. We can even drop down 500 feet. We don't need to drop down quite that aggressively, though. Actually, I don't know what the autopilot's doing. Autopilot has gone crazy. That's fine. I'm going to fly this in manually now. We can drop our GPS. We don't need that. Looks like we have some pretty heavy winds here. Still going 100, so I'm going to drop my flaps all the way down. It'll be a difficult landing, but we'll get there.
Green com.
There we go. Passing 500 feet. Passing 400 feet. We need to drop our speed a little bit more and drop our altitude. This is a regional airport, but it's still got a fairly big runway, so I think it was a size 3, class 3, so we should have lots of space even if we don't land right at the front of the runway here, so I'm not going to worry about that too much. I just want to line up with it and get it going. We can then just go slowly and chill, let ourselves drop.
Landing time log.
Perfect. I'm going to stop here. And we're just going to stop here. We actually want to take off on this runway after we're done refueling and everything. So I'm going to put my flaps back up to takeoff position. We're not going to reload this because we're basically in the spot where we would reload anyway. I just want to make sure that we get everything else done. So let's pop back into here. We're going to hit end flight in OnAir Manager. That will drop off all our cargo and all of our stuff. We got some bonuses here. The engine was on at tracking start. So you get a slight reputation bonus. Sorry, deficit when you don't turn the engine on yourself and stuff like that. But it's so low. That's fine. Comfort bonus obtained, 5%. Safety bonus not obtained. This was because the engine was already on at tracking. That's fine. Aircraft handling, all rules were respected, so we get a bit of a bonus there as well. Normal wear and tear. So this is the engine and the airframe wear and tear that happens. So we're going to hit OK. We're going to get onto our next flight now, which is going to be over to Sarasota, Florida. So we just wait for OnAir. Go back to our map. So we're at KVRB. I want to prepare our next flight. Payload. Fridges. So we've got our payload already. So we basically just need to fly. I just want to see our fuel. I think if I hit fly, I think we need more fuel. How do I... pending jobs. That's this one. It's been a while since I've used this, and that's why I'm not really that aware. Oh, yeah, we need to go to this one here, FL95. So we're going to FL95, which is like right across here. But we need to fill up our fuel, I think, first. So FL95 is where we are going. So let's go here. What was it? FL95, I think. Prepare the next flight. Here we go. That's the button I was looking for. We're going to FL95. We want to get a little bit more fuel. We are going to Sarasota, Florida as well, which I think is going to be about 100 nautical miles, maybe 90. So we probably want to get 200 nautical miles worth of fuel. We are going to Brook Air patch. This is a size 1. It does have an FBO, So it does actually have fuel there, so we could pick up fuel there. But that's fine. Let's do this. So this one has arrived. You can see we've dropped off this cargo. So now we need to pick up this cargo. And let's verify the fuel. So I forgot to pick it up before, and now we've got it. So we're going to wait 1.6 minutes, and it's going to put the cargo on for us. Let the apron crew do their thing, and I'll be right back. Okay, now we are going to put our destination in again as FL95. Okay, and we're going to fly now. We'll go to FL95 and then we'll go off to Sarasota, Florida. So we're just literally taking off and touching down. This is going to be a very short flight. So let's start tracking. We'll wait for it to tell us it's tracking our flight.
Your flight will be monitored until you land and shut down the engines.
Perfect. And then let's put our map up so we can see where we're going, because we're basically going right to here. So let's take off and get to there. We're only going to be about 100 feet off the ground probably for the whole flight, so it should be a fairly quick one. Let's get our engines going. Thank you very much, Vero Beach. Vero Beach? Someone in Florida knows how that's pronounced. I don't. And we're off.
Airborne time log.
Okay, so we're going to go to this Brook Air patch. I'm going to not go too fast, because we're basically just flying over these buildings and then landing over there. We're only 3 nautical miles away. So normally we would be on approach anyway at this point. I don't know where... I don't know which way the Brook Air patch is set up. It looks like I've got to go over this way a little bit. I'm trying to see the runway just so I can judge which direction I need to come from. We can always go around it. That's fine too. We've got lots of space to go around it. Is it showing here? Not really. I'm trying to not crash my plane at the same time. Oops, I went too far. That's okay. Alright, Brook Air patch. Yeah, I can see there's the runway there. Okay. So we're set. Let's get our flaps going.
260 at 2 knots.
And I think that's the runway right in front of us there. Although I could be wrong. Looks like the rest of it is in the trees, so this must be it. Passing 200. I just need to get straighter a little bit and land. This is going to be a bit of a rougher landing, I suspect.
Landing time log.
There we go. We made it to FL95. That was a very quick flight. And we will end the flight
Time log.
in OnAir.
Flight is finished.
We
It has
will.
been monitored by
It's a
OnAir.
valid flight. Perfect. We'll go back over here, and we'll start our next flight. We may have to restart this flight. Not restart, but we may have to restart Microsoft Flight Simulator this because we're not on the right spot, I suspect. And there's not much space to turn around. That's the problem. It's like there's trees everywhere. So, okay, we've got fuel. So we want to set up the flight first, I think. Go back to the company dashboard. This is what we did last time. We were bouncing around a couple windows, and then we came back and it let us set up the flight. So, do we have enough space to turn around here, do you think? We might. We have to go around those buildings, though. That's the problem. I think I want to just restart this flight. FL95. So I'm going to go to the main menu. We're going to get this going. It should now ask us to prepare the flight. Yep. And this time we're going to Sarasota, Florida. We've dropped off. So we're at FL95 now, which is up here. Where are we? FL95? Yep. Set as departure. Okay, so we are going to Sarasota here. It is 113 nautical miles. We still have 193 nautical miles, so we're going to keep that. We do have our cargo on board, so we're going to go get in here. We're going to start flight sim first, just so that it can connect properly. Hit ready to fly, and this just brings our plane in the right position to be flying. I don't want to try and go around those buildings. That's why we did that. So Sarasota Bradenton International Airport. It is a big airport, so we don't need to worry about that. It's 103 nautical miles away, so it will take a little bit to get there, but that's no problem. My dog, obviously having issues with the birds outside. They're not friends. Okay, so we're going to follow our aircraft. We're going to start tracking. We're going to wait until it says we're tracking, and then we're going to take off.
Your flight will be monitored until you land and shut down the engines.
All right, flight is being tracked. Good. So we're all ready to go. Let's take this over, and we're going to be going basically west. So you can see where we're going here. We are going to I'm going to go back too far. There we go. We're going to KSRQ, which is right here. So you can see they've got a sort of diagonal runway here that we're going to try and be getting on. So we want to go, I think, basically just, yeah, we want to be headed, you know, just not quite west, just a little bit southwest. And we should intercept that runway just perfectly. So let's head out there, guys. Let's start going. We'll keep our map here so we can see what's going on. Oh, come back. Okay, and let's go. Flaps at 15. And we're going to want to use full power on this engine and get going because we don't have a huge runway here, so we're going to let us get all the way up to 100% power before we let off our brakes, because otherwise we're going to hit those trees. And we don't, in fact, want to hit those trees. That would not be ideal. So, plane's going to take off by itself perfectly. Thank you very much, plane. Okay, you're going to head up. I'm going to try and keep her steady while we get our heading organized. We want a little bit southwest, maybe there. Okay, and we want altitude. Okay, so we're going to be going up at about 1,000, maybe 1,100, and we're going to get all the way up to 8,000 feet again. So we're just using the autopilot to get us where we need to go. It's perfectly acceptable. Let's get up. We can turn our engines down a little bit. They're screaming at us. And we want to change our heading just a little bit. You can see here our plane is going to, roughly have to turn here, which is way too far away. So we want to get a little bit closer to the heading where we want to be at. So probably 251, 252. That looks a little better. And then we're going to climb all the way up to 8,000 feet. And we're going to enjoy the scenery while we fly. So again, I'm going to time-lapse most of this journey just because it's not that interesting, but it'll be interesting seeing the Florida coast go by and turn into more farmland and all that. So yeah, let's watch it in time-lapse, and we'll get back to you when we get a little bit closer to Sarasota, Florida. All right, I'm back briefly here. I'm going to jump into the cockpit and I'm going to change our heading a little bit as well. We're going to head a little bit north, probably 283, maybe 4. Should be fine either way. I'm also going to get down in altitude. I'm going to bring us down to 4,500 feet. And I'm going to take us down relatively slowly, maybe 650, 750, 800. Yeah, that should be fine. That's not slow, but that's fine. We're also going to pull off the throttle a little bit. We don't need to exceed 150 knots. So we are not quite there yet, but we're getting a little closer, so we're going to drop that altitude, drop our speed a little bit, and yes, we will get down shortly to 4,500, and we will be landing at KSRQ, Sarasota, Florida. Now, this will be my last flight for right now. I will probably end the stream after this, but I will be back on YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube, you'll probably just get a cut, and I will be right back because I think I'm going to do a little bit more here because most of this was time-lapse and cut out. There's not that much in my YouTube video yet, so if you're watching on YouTube, well, you won't be seeing this most likely, but you'll get more flights. If you're watching this on the stream and you're interested in watching YouTube, the YouTube channel is youtube.com/questlinehero. I do a bunch of different games, not just Flight Sim. This is actually only my first video on Flight Sim, but we play Space Engineers and we play other games. So if you're interested in the types of games that I play, come and join us. We also have questlinehero.com where we have some news, reviews, tricks, tips, all that kind of stuff about various games. So if you're interested in that, go see that. And yeah, we'll get down to 4,500 feet here, and we will slow down a little bit to get ready for our approach into Sarasota, Florida. So for landing, we basically want to line up with this ringy waypoint here. So we can take a look on our... This flight map is going to be a little bit better than the GPS in our plane. So you can see we're not quite there, but you can see we want to hit this red line here. This is going to be our approach landing. So we're getting pretty close. I'm actually going to drop our altitude a little bit quicker than I expected because we are relatively close to the airport. So there it is right there. So we do need to bleed our speed and altitude quite quickly. So I am going to get us down to probably 1,500 now. And I'm going to cut back on our throttle. I'm actually going to hit the flaps 15%. We don't need to worry about gears in this aircraft, so we're not going to do that. But we are going to bleed our speed quite a bit. We can actually see the runway right here. It's actually closer than I thought. It looks really far on this map, but it's actually not that far anymore. We've been zooming in on the map progressively as we got closer and closer, so it sort of crept up on me how close we were. But that's okay. We're in a small aircraft. We can fly relatively easily down short distances, and even if we have to do a quick turnaround, we can do that But I think we should be fine. We're bleeding our speed and our altitude relatively quickly here. So I'm going to take a look back on my map. I want to intercept this this runway here, and then we're going to basically go straight 140, which is where we will be. So in probably 30-40 seconds, we'll reach this red line, and we'll change our heading over to 140, and that will get us lined up right for the runway. Sorry, 320, not 140. Then we'd be going the wrong way. 320. This is runway 32 here. So that's what we're going to do. 320-degree heading once we cross that red line, which is coming up fairly soon here. It doesn't have to be exact because we are in a small plane, and I'll just adjust, but we want to get nice and close to that. We are approaching 2,600 feet, so we're still bleeding speed pretty quickly and bleeding altitude. That's good. We will be all set up. We can probably aim for this waypoint here. This is probably close enough for our little aircraft, but that's fine. We're headed this way anyway, so it's no problem at all. Alright, this looks like about 10 seconds, and we're going to turn, so we'll count that down. 9, 8, 7, 6. So in 5 seconds, we'll change our heading, and the heading again will be 320 as indicated by this chart. Yep, 3-2. So we're almost there. We're slowing down quite a bit too, which is good. Let's change our heading. Let's go 300 first, because it looks like we're turning a little bit early. And we'll look at our map. And now we'll go 320. There we go. Almost perfectly lined up there. Totally good enough for our purposes. Okay, we are down at 1,500 feet as well. We're going 96 knots, which is totally fine. Everything looks good for our arrival down in Sarasota, Florida. Our next altitude will be 800, maybe actually 500 feet. We're not going to quite drop there yet. We'll probably get there slowly anyway. But it looks like we're going to get down right to about where we want to be. We probably don't even need to use this altitude selector for this, because we're coming in pretty close. But we're still a few minutes out, so that's fine. You'll notice we've intercepted this ringy waypoint here, so that we know we're right on track. That's good. If we were using a big jetliner, then we would have used this as a autopilot, turn, but we're not using a jet. Are we going too slow now? What's our malfunction? We're just too low? Too low, too slow? What's the problem? Now we're okay. Yeah, it wants us to stay above 100 knots while we're approaching here. That's fine. We will stay above 100 knots. 104 airspeed. That's fine. We do have 4% fuel left. Not a lot. We probably wanted more, but that's okay. Oh, just dropped to 3%. As we're speaking about it. So we're 4.6 nautical miles away. By the time we get to 3, I'm going to drop that down to 500 feet. We're not quite there yet. We do have our altitude selected, you can see here. We are selected to 500 feet. I just have to select my vertical speed toggle, and we can get down there. We're just not quite ready for that yet. I'm going to pull back on the throttle again a little bit. We're going 110 almost again. And we'll get to 3.5 nautical miles probably, and then I'll pull this vertical speed. I'm probably going to bring it up to about 700 feet. Just because I don't want to be too close. Alright, so we'll pick the vertical speed, and we'll go down like this. And we're going to pick up a little bit of speed here, so we're going to, again, pull the engines back, trying to stay around that 100 knots sort of speed. We're pretty much ready to kill the autopilot here in a second. So I'm going to let us get down to that 700 feet. Still at 109. It's a little quick. So I'm going to kill the autopilot. I'm going to bring down the engines. I'm going to full flaps. And we're going to land this little baby. We got more wind speed going on here. That's fine. A little bit of a windy day here in Florida. All these houses. Must suck to be these houses down here. Look at that. We're just going right over all these people's poor houses. Yeah, so 4-knot wind. Not too bad.
500.
Alright, 500 feet. We're going to just dive down a little bit. Get down to a little bit closer. We are engines off, basically. We're just going to coast in. This is a big international airport, so we have tons of runway room. We're not looking to touch down right at the tip of the runway here. We're just going to get down slow and easy. We'll try to make a little bit better of a landing than we did last time.
Landing time long.
Nope. It's still a bit of a hard landing. That's okay. I think I cut my engines a little bit too quickly in this game. I don't think I need to do that, but that's okay. We did it. We're going to try and park in here as well. See if we can turn our airplane into here. We will likely park our airplane here. Like I said, I'm going to take a bit of a break. My son is getting home, so I've got to make sure he gets some lunch. Oh, are we going to hit that? That's going to be awkward if I hit that. Let's try not to do that. That will cancel our whole flight. That would be a real big bummer. I don't know what the brake button is on my HOTAS here. I've got to figure it out so that I don't accidentally hit the wrong button. Is that fuel truck going to get out of my way? Is that fuel truck going to hit me? I hope not. Dude, fuel truck. What are you doing, friend? It's okay, I'll get out of your way. It's okay. I think that yellow line means you shouldn't be there, buddy, but that's okay, you do your thing, friendo. Alright, so we're just going to go ahead and park in the apron here. This is probably not where we're supposed to park necessarily at this airport, but this is where I park because I go where I want to go, man. So, we're going to park here, and then we're going to go back, and we're going to do end flight.
Flight is finished.
We've reached level 3, we have a new level mission and new skill points. So we get a lot of XP for doing these level missions, that's what their purpose is. So we did get level 3, which is great. So we're going to go into here. Alright, so after a bit of a break, I took my plane and I was looking for a new spot. I picked this job in Missouri. I went and got all my cargo, got my plane sorted out, we filled it up. And we got ready to go. We can see we're going to KTBN, which is Waynesville St. Robert Regional Airport. It's a size 3. The only thing I'm concerned about here is that I may not have enough fuel to get all the way there. I am filling up 100%. I only have 1,900 pounds worth of cargo, but I'm not sure if I'm going to make it all the way there on one tank of gas. And I actually don't know how the OnAir Airline Manager handles refueling, so we're just going to see if we can get the whole way there, and well, hopefully we can. So here I am, I'm just taking off. I've sped up the footage here just because this is already a pretty long video, and unfortunately I was flying at night, and there wasn't much to see. You can see I had a bit of a problem here with my autopilot. It was going a little bit haywire on me, trying to kill me, I guess. But I finally got my flight director sorted out, finally got my autopilot going, and we got headed in the right direction. So, as we continue along here, you can see it is beautiful. Look like we're flying into the sunset, which we technically are. However, we're sort of following or chasing the sun. So the whole flight was kind of this dark thing. I was kind of hoping we were flying east and chasing the morning, but we weren't. We were going sort of northwest, and unfortunately the entire flight was like this. So I'm not going to pull you through this entire flight. It was actually quite long. We're flying from Florida all the way up to Missouri, so it took several hours. But that's kind of the nice thing about Flight Simulator, is that you can just sort of leave it on in the background while you're doing other things. I was making dinner and eating dinner and other sorts of things while I was just letting my plane fly on autopilot. And that's sort of the joy of this game, is all you really got to do is pay attention to your landings, your takeoffs, and you're all set. So I did actually figure out that I did need to refuel. You can see I'm at 41% fuel. I'm not even halfway through my journey, so I definitely needed to refuel. So here I am. I'm going to make an approach here to this airport, KTCL, which was literally right underneath me. So it was really good. So I've already gone down in altitude, already at 2,500 feet. So I'm just going to make this landing and refuel. Now, I did have a bit of an issue with OnAir. I didn't know how to do the refueling. I didn't know that if I canceled or, ended my flight, if it would sort of cancel the job that I was on or not. It doesn't. So if you're ever in this situation and you need to refuel, just stop somewhere. You can end your flight and then you can start a new flight to your destination. It doesn't break anything. It's totally fine. So as you can see here, I just put my destination back in. It was no problem at all. I could fill up my tank. I did about 81%, I think, there, and it was no problem. I was able to just take off again. It basically had to just start a new flight and track it again, but you kept all your cargo. It wasn't a problem. So I spent a little bit of time trying to figure that out, but finally got it. And then here we are, ready to take off. We're going to head over to our final destination. Alright, and again, I've sped up the footage here coming into Waynesville, our last airport here, to drop off our packages. Totally fully lined up, as you can see here. No problems at all. Perfect pilot. It was totally fine. It was a little windy. It was windy, and that's why I bounced off the runway, I swear. Anyway, we're going to come back at you with the next video very soon. Join me on Twitch, twitch.tv/questlinehero. And yeah, look forward to number 2 very quickly.